Basem Wasef with Autoblog, and this is the new Cadillac ATS-V. With its 464 horsepower twin-turbo V6, it actually puts out more power than the BMW M4 it was benchmarked against. But this car is a little bit heavier. How does it compare on the track? We're here at Circuit of the Americas to find out. Accelerating out of pit lane at Circuit of the Americas in the Cadillac ATS-V Coupe. I love the fact the Cadillac went to the trouble of making a manual transmission for this car. Giving drivers the option for a manual really kind of puts Cadillac into a good, solid place as a manufacturer of performance cars. It's easier to take them seriously when you know that they make a proper 3-pedal manual for this car. The engineers said that they considered for a split second putting in a dual clutch transmission, but the added weight, the added development time, the added development cost made them stick with an 8-speed torque converter gearbox, which actually works rather well. Now, a little bit about this gearbox. Gear ratios are actually relatively tall, which means that a lot of the slower corners you might have considered doing third gear in are actually better in second gear. One interesting feature is the no lift function. Basically what it does is if you keep your foot buried in the throttle in between shifts, it'll keep the boost up to help you go faster. GM engineers say that at the Milford Proving Ground that actually accounts for 1.5 seconds faster lap times, which is pretty impressive, and that's pretty notable. Now, just like in the Corvette Z06, this has active rev match downshifts. I will say it works like magic, and the nice thing about this system is that even if you hold the clutch lever in for a while, it'll still hold those revs. You don't have to make the decision immediately to engage. I'm going to disable the rev matched function here. There is something satisfying about matching the revs yourself, heeling and towing to get the rev range right. However, you really feel like you're losing precious milliseconds. Cadillac engineers are saying that the ATS-V is a little bit more surgical and balanced than a more powerful car that they're coming out with soon, which is an interesting statement because when you compare this to the car that it was benchmarked against, the BMW M3, M4, this feels a little bit more soulful, I gotta say. There's something about a V6 and its power delivery that makes it a bit more involving and a little bit less clinical than the inline 6 found in the BMW. Now that naturally aspirated engines have pretty much gone the way of the dinosaur in this class, we're getting used to turbos, and this is a pretty responsive turbo, I will say. You get nice throttle response. Once they really spool up, you get a really good meaty power band. I do wish it had a little more low-end power, but considering the trade-offs overall, this is a pretty phenomenal package. Going into the S's here at Circuit of the Americas, there is really good turn-in with this car. There's a bit of reluctance to turn after that, but for the most part, there's really very little understeer, which is really nice. You sort of lack some of the finesse of more expensive competitors like the M3 and the C63 AMG. But considering its price point, I'd say this ATS-V is really on point. One thing you appreciate with the carbon package that's on this car is the high-speed stability. Engineers say that at 150 miles an hour, there's only 10 pounds of lift at the front end, but more notably, there's 50 pounds of downforce at the tail, which really makes it feel planted and reassuring as you're hitting 145. One thing that really surprised me about this car is the power of the Brembo brake system. First lap or two, I was braking so early, I would actually let off the brake, get on the gas, and then brake again. They're that good. But when you have that much stopping power on tap, it just gives you that many more options to choose from. This wide sweeper here at Circuit of the Americas towards the front straight shows a lot of mechanical grip with these tires. These Michelins are doing a good job of holding up despite my abusive driving. They are getting a little bit greasy though, especially after a few hot laps. ATS-V, surprisingly impressive car, I must say, after hot lapping Circuit of the Americas, which is a pretty challenging course. It's long, it's hard on brakes, and it's got a lot of high-speed stuff, especially the back straight where we saw an indicated 145 miles an hour. Cadillac has done a phenomenal job with tuning up their standard issue luxury cars and turning them into track-ready animals like this. End of the day, Cadillac really does stand up to the best the BMW's M cars and Mercedes AMGs can dish out. For Autoblog, I'm Basem Wasef. Thanks for watching.